right, boys, let's remember our training. Five, four, three, two, one.
We are some hippies, these are my friends. Come along with me, see how the story ends. We are some hippies, these are my friends. Come along with me, see how the story ends.
Welcome back to another episode of Putin's DJ. How we doing tonight?
What's up, dude?
Getting the crowd moving, I see.
Moving and grooving, baby.
Doing
I mean, you were the one that was probably shepherding a bunch of strung out hippies over the week, you know?
For sure. 100%.
Like herding cats, dude.
Exactly. Went to Miami for a week for Miami Music Week. We got a nice Airbnb. That was the way to go. Got a nice Airbnb in a nice location of Miami. Not in the heart of Miami where everything is going on. A nice 20 minutes away from that was perfect. Nice developed area. I mean, the homes were like 1-something million around us. So that gives you an idea of the type of home we had.
I don't know, Miami, that could easily be a slum. that could be a cardboard box out next to some Cuban shop.
That's probably like one of those like old traveling vans. They just set it up in a parking lot.
Right. There's like, hey, I saw a funny meme the other day about Austin because the prices here are just freaking crazy, man. And now we're thinking about moving. And it was this wooden teepee in a park somewhere, and they're like, new construction, one occupant only, $900 a month. I'm like, that sounds about right. That feels.
What?
No, it's bullshit. But
okay. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, no.
Some homeless guy set up all these cardboard boxes, just starts renting it out on Airbnb.
Dude, you would be blown away when you come. We'll go play some disc golf, and what is quickly becoming my favorite course. So the other day, I forgot to send you this video. I went to hit a putt for, I don't know, birdie, and I'm throwing out of a fucking tent. Like there was literally 3 tents around me, and my disc landed in the middle of them. And so Michael and I have a rule: if you hit somebody knees up, you get 2 strokes off your score. So I saw a homeless man coming out, and I was like, I got to throw that direction anyway. I wasn't throwing at him, but like they're camped on the middle of the course.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do? Like I'm here to play. I'm here to win. Winners win. So anyway, I almost hit him, and he was like, "Nice shot, man!" And he proceeded to watch me. So that was cool. I mean, it is such a what would the word be? Like juxtaposition is kind of what I'm thinking. But you have this beautiful skyline of Austin, and then the beautiful course and homeless tents all up in that bitch. I mean, all up in it.
It adds to like the obstacle course.
It sure does.
That'd be funny if they update it, because you know how there's like the disc golf maps that people use.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be really funny if they could update it with like the current location of tents on it.
Yo, that would be a full-time job in itself. I'm like, all for the people in the woods, like, hey, whatever, do what you got to do. It's a park, I guess, right? But the balls and in the middle, could not be more in my fucking way. It's like, dude, this is a disc golf course. This isn't like you're at a state park. Like, just camp wherever you can find a flat spot. Like,
I mean, that's what it looks like if you're not into disc golf. It just looks like a regular park.
I mean, I hear you, but there's no way. I mean, anyway, it's just kind of crazy.
What if you throw it through a tent? Like if both sides are open, you get it through the tent into the chain?
Oh yeah, they're not invested in tents like that. I've seen a couple pretty solid tents. I've also seen some like Mad Max style like communities, where they have full on bonfires going in the middle, and they're always really nice. Homeless people are pretty cool.
Well, isn't it like it's a lot? It's not what the typical homeless people would you would think it is. It's just people that they probably had an apartment in like Kansas or something, and they're like, I'm just gonna move to Austin. I'll just live in a tent, whatever.
Yeah, I don't think that really plays out the narrative that drugs have a grip on these people's lives. But yeah, sure. I mean, you can think they're from, Kansas, Missouri, or wherever the fuck. But
Let's get them on the podcast. Let's find out.
oh, dude, how funny would that be? Um, yeah. So anyway, so how did Miami Music Week go? Good show.
Fantastic, all around great. The shows that we went to were fantastic. It's definitely, I thought it was better than going to Ultra. You're pretty much getting you pretty much get the same DJs.
Mhm.
You have to be more selective of the DJs that you want to go to because you have to pay to get into these specific locations. But
Mhm.
yeah, the venues were fantastic. The light shows in them, the way they set them up too, world class that you see. You know how sometimes you see like, oh, in Egypt, this nightclub and the crazy light visuals they have all
Mhm.
synchronized, not like lasers coming in at you. I'm talking about
Yeah,
like
yeah.
above you, around you, behind you. Is what these were. That was pretty awesome at Mana Winwood. We saw this show called Tales of Us.
Mhm.
The event was called Echoes or something, but it was like a world class event that they put on, and so you go to these shows and it's like an older, more mature crowd, I thought, than going to
Mhm.
Ultra. Let's say a bunch of like people from around the world, roided up gym guys,
Mhm.
at Ultra, and then you're stuck in there. Whereas this, you're like, you can chill for a few hours, go to the beach, then go to your show for a few hours, then go to the next like the after show that you purchased. Now you have to purchase tickets and all these different things, but they were only like 40, 50, $60 at
Oh, I
each
was gonna
one.
ask that. I mean, an ultra ticket's like what, 600?
Yeah, you're looking at that for sure. And these are like 40, $50. You get like a nice venue, not as packed sometimes. We went to Space Miami. We went in, we went up to the top, and then we walked the hell right back out of there. That was just
Really?
that it was good if you could get in the middle and if you got there super early, but the time frame we got in, that place was so packed. We just weren't having a good time. We were like, we'd rather go back home to that DJ setup I showed you.
Yeah.
We just played that, man. Like we had a nice DJ setup with the speakers and the lights. These lights on the side, they look fantastic with the speaker systems that we had. And a couple of the guys really enjoyed DJing. We would come back and our after party we go till 6 a.m.
Oh my
Pass
god.
out, wake up at like 3, go to the beach maybe for a little bit. Uh, start drinking, do whatever, and get ready for the evening. Um, I had a great time. It was definitely my best Miami experience by far so far.
Sounds like you got what you're after, dude. Sounds like it
I
was a bit better than the last go, huh?
100%. And then went to this event called Get Lost. That was like a mini festival in itself within Miami. It ran for 24 hours. It started at 5 a.m. and it ran till 5 a.m. the next
Oh,
morning. And
oh.
so they would like DJs were just like they had a few different stages, and then throughout the 24 hours, they would open up a new stage and then open up a new stage that you could go to. They had like an indoor one, outdoor one. They would set up like canopy. They would like evolve it throughout the day and into the evening.
Is this the
What they
work
had
of
going.
Brian Thomas?
I don't know, man. I don't who was it? I forgot the name of the group that did it, but this would be probably like something that Brian Thomas. It had like a Burning Man vibe, honestly.
Really?
Like it was definitely Burning Man vibes that I got from it. Like it was like a carnival theme. So they had like these tents going on, then like performing artists everywhere. Um, it was cool. I really enjoyed it. I found like we were all talking about like next year going to Get Lost for sure, and then like a couple other events because you could just have a great time. You could literally go to Lost at 5 a.m. Make that as a little bit of your after party. Go home and sleep, and then come back to Get Lost in the evening time and keep it going.
That does sound fun. Next year, I definitely got to put that on the docket. And it's funny, like we were trying to buy Burning Man tickets the other day, and that was just like
wow, man. Like I went to the Reddit page and there was people getting through. I think what we did was I think what was happening was we had to stay on the page and wait for something to pop up, and then you click on that, and then that would take you into a queue. And then what would happen is you would have to stay in the queue and not refresh your page because eventually it would pop up with the where you need to go. And people kept pressing refresh, and then that restarts your position in the queue. Is what I was reading. But yeah, there was also a lot of people having trouble. There were some people that were saying it was the easiest process they ever went through for Burning Man. It just it depended.
Yeah, well, one thing's for certain: 10,000 tickets got sold in 2 minutes. That's for sure.
Yeah, they did immediately. So that was unfortunate. I thought we were doing it right. We're getting it. Boom, purchase, done.
What are you gonna do?
I just felt like I almost felt like because it was our first year, we were automatically put into the back of the queue on our reservation. They're like, we're not even going to send you.
Yeah, you gotta earn it. That's the thing. They do grade the profiles though, so they do some kind of positioning.
So what if if it's your 10th year going to Burning Man, you get the link probably pretty quickly, maybe on it.
And well, if it's your second or third year, you don't have to go through that same process when you fill out your profile.
Really?
You go through some other kind of sale. I don't know. Whatever. We'll figure it out.
So now we got to go through what was it called? The STEP program.
2-step.
And then there's the OMG. They call it the OMG sale. That happens August 3rd, but that's not till August 3rd.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, in or not?
Yeah, whatever. Well, between now and then, we'll for sure be able to snag some tickets here and there.
Yeah, if anybody wants to sell us some tickets, we're more than happy to buy them off of
if you're out there and you get a Burning Man ticket, send them my way.
Right here. Happy to take it off your hands.
So anyway, to segue into something, I was having a thought earlier. I'm out there in the garden. It's not a garden. It's
how zen of you.
Well, weeds grow there, regardless. It's just something like the side of my patio. Yeah, I don't know if there is. There definitely is. But one of the most satisfying feelings you can have is pulling weeds out of your garden or like just manicuring something to give a fuck about,
Yeah, it is nice. I didn't like it when I was a kid, but it's nice now.
Well, because now you care, right?
Yeah.
So I'm putting down all this like mulch and stuff to make the yard look good. And a couple weeks ago, it was like almost like this weird lesson where a month ago I tried to pull these weeds and it was just so frustrating. And give it a month and those weeds got huge, right? And so now I was like, all right, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna tackle it again. Something just so therapeutic about that process,
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like what is it? The best description I've heard of that before is like if you let a problem in your life muster and you don't take care of it, it's just going to continue to grow and wrap around the rest of the parts of your life. That's the same thing with gardening. You let those weeds grow, it's just going to start wrapping around your roses.
Well, the irony here is that I let my problem get bigger and it was easier to deal with. So I don't know what the parable is there, but it worked out.
So you let your problem grow and then it was easier to deal with?
Exactly. So if you have a problem, all you have to do is let it get bigger and it's going to be easier to get out of your life.
That's kind of like with weeds a little bit. Like you got to let that weed grow a little bit so you can get a good handle on it or rip it out of the ground. Otherwise, you're just going to rip the top part, not the roots.
Exactly. So I don't know what the deep life lesson is here, but something about try and tackle your problem. If you can't handle it then, let it sit, fester, and manifest into something larger, and it might be easier to take care of.
Maybe it's you don't go after it. You let it sit so you can think on it before you just jump into trying to solve it immediately. Taking action too quick on something.
Or
you don't get to the root cause of it.
Hear me out. Hire cheap labor to deal with your problems. That is the real solution to America. That's the American way.
That is the capitalist American way. Hire cheap labor to deal with. But, Yeah, you hire the cheap labor, and then they're not getting to the root cause of it. They're just skimming that top layer in order to satisfy you and get paid.
I don't know, man. Those guys I hired from Home Depot a while ago, they got after it pretty good.
Yeah, but again, let's think about that. You got some good cheap labor, right? Good, fantastic.
Yeah, real solid.
But then you go back the next day; it's a whole new crew. You think, okay, I'll pay these guys; they'll do it for the same amount, and then they're going to do a horrible job compared to the other guys today. But you paid the same price, same amount of time.
Well, listen, I don't really like how you're approaching this manifestation thing or employing the underprivileged.
You're the one underemploying the underprivileged.
No, I'm
paying them not fair labor and not providing benefits. Okay.
Well, by the way, the benefits are pretty solid lunch. That sounds great to everybody, doesn't it?
What type of lunch did you buy?
Well, for myself, not jack shit, nothing apparently. So here's where I am.
Take care of their family.
I'm barely taking care of my own.
Well, maybe because you didn't take care of your family, you probably should have done more. No one gives a shit about you. You got to take care of your employees and their families.
Well, they're not even technically employed by me.
Oh, so now you're going into slave labor now. Is what
no, it's different when it's under the table. A more indentured servant is the term that I would use. Short term. It's like the Uber, the Airbnb of employing what you can. It's making do with what you have is the way I would look at it.
We're keeping the government out of the system here. That's the key.
Right? The only system is the government, let me tell you. You know? When you think about
the system that works is the government. All
if
hail.
You think about it hard enough, it really makes sense. That's the key to life. You know, people get all wrapped up and trying to figure it out. The moment you stop figuring it out, let it fester a little bit, get bigger. Well, then you have
all your money to the government, and they'll know exactly what to do to solve your problems.
Yes. Hey, did you know that IRAs are only like 40 years old?
IRAs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the whole savings account thing, it's like 40 years old. Maybe younger than that, like 30 years old.
401k is not that old either.
Yeah. I just learned about that recently. I'm like, what the fuck? This whole idea of like saving for retirement is like actually a pretty new concept.
Well, it definitely, the way they did it, it worked. Like 401ks and IRAs definitely were a great idea 40 years ago, and they still are a great idea, but they're not as lucrative as they once were, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of depends. My Bitcoin's coming back. Pretty stoked for that.
Hey, here. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Buy a little bit when it's down. Enjoy the ups.
Well, see, the thing was, I was so in it that I was like, man, I could put more money in it, but like my sphincter was so tight. Did I say that right? Sphincter, yeah. Sphincter. Is that named after a person?
Sphincter. I hope so.
Hey, fun fact. Do you know why we call a toilet the crapper?
Because the guy that invented it, his name was the Crapper.
It was. John Crapper. John S. Crapper, I believe.
John S. Crapper. What a good man. You know,
it could be A, but I'm going to go ask John S. Crapper.
That should be like, his picture should be in the nation's capital or wherever he invented it, and just with his name under it, the inventor of the toilet. Like, thank you.
Well,
so we don't have to shit in the ground.
Speaking, I mean, he did save a lot of people from a lot of bad smells, real terrible smells.
A lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have like a hygienic museum? We should have that. That's where our tax dollars should go.
Yeah, so like you go through the front door and they give you some of those Rubbermaid gloves, so like you're clean throughout the whole
mask. Obviously, some hand sanitizer.
Oh God, I hope that's the one thing they don't require is a mask. You know,
those like shitty toothbrushes at the dentist they give you, but then they're like, you should buy an electric toothbrush, but we're going to give you a shitty little plastic one instead. Cool.
Oh, come on. Like back with capitalism, like you really expect them to give you like a really nice toothbrush? No.
Yeah.
I did recently have to change the toothbrush heads on my toothbrush. They're starting to like get after the gums. No one likes that. And having to wear braces to bed.
Are you wearing braces again?
To bed, always, dude. I stay braced up. What are you talking about?
You do?
Dude, you don't have to worry about falling if you stay braced. You know what I'm saying?
True. I don't know. I've got perfect teeth. I've never had to worry about it.
Hey, must be nice. Maybe you should think about bracing other things.
Like my knees.
Dude, if anybody needs some steady old knee braces, it's you, brother.
Dude, I was dancing. You know, you do the side to side 4-step, little shuffling at Miami. by the last day, I'm at a Chris Lake show and I felt my knee buckle a little bit. And I was like, oh,
There you are.
we're reaching the limit. There it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. And he said, hey.
It did too. I could be squatting 300 pounds, every other day, but then dance, 4 or 5 days in a row. And that's when the knees start giving in a little bit.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I hired a trainer the other day, and not cheap. The guy knows his stuff, and so I'm excited to get back into the gym in like a real way and have something to be attacking. Get after.
I just increased my my gym another 30 minutes, so now I'm doing a full 3 hours with a trainer a week. It's just I love it. I love being with a trainer. I love having someone that is making sure my form's good. I love someone that's helping me with weights. That's
What's
like
he charging an hour, or like how much is it a session? Or do you just do like a package and it breaks down?
It's like a package and I break down. I honestly I just increased it and I was like, I don't even care. Just swipe the card. Like this is too good not to make the investment into it. I don't know.
Well, it's been paying a lot of dividends for you.
It's paying a lot of dividends. I one of the biggest parts of it that I enjoy is that they help you with the weights. So like I'm getting in such heavy weights that like they're basically taking off
like
half
10
of
minutes
it.
of workout.
Exactly. They're putting up at least half of it and taking down half of it. I'm like, this is worth it in itself, though. I'm not exhausting more energy just doing that.
Yeah, the form is such a big part of it. Like I just got stale, and like I love CrossFit. Like man, I really do love CrossFit, but I don't like the cleans or the snatches. I really don't like the snatch part. There's a couple other things that my body just hasn't loved, and I started going to these groups here, these like workout groups. It's called the Empowered Brotherhood. So
cool.
It's really cool. It's got these influencers lead it, and something about people that are genuine high level coaches that are also influencers, because you can be one or the other. These guys are both. They're fucking legit, man. It's just a bunch of guys out there, and
I figure those two tie into each other pretty well.
Well, they can, but they are also mutually exclusive. And the guy that was leading the workouts for us, because it's meant to be like a networking thing, but you also meet high level individuals, and everyone there is obviously there to connect, make better connections. And so we do a real hard workout. And one day they ended it with dodgeball. And I was like, you forget how much you miss playing like a kid and being really competitive at something silly like that until you're doing it again as a grown ass man. That was fun. And
I had to bring that up to my trainer actually recently. Like we do like a quarterly review of something, like, hey, how am I doing? Things like that. And I brought it up to him. I was like, hey man, like, why don't we just throw in like every now and then a workout that's just a little bit more fun?
Yeah.
And just we're like, I get the powerlifting, we got to keep on it, but like, how about one day we're just like, let's just do the rope. Let's just go for a walk around the place just to cool down. I don't know, something just that's a little bit more.
Changing it up
a little bit every now and then. Yeah. So that's cool that they do that, especially like dodgeball. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's at these workouts. And the guy that led it, I was like, I know he's not going to be cheap, but if there's ways that I can incorporate, what this guy is, the way he's approaching fitness, I was like, hey, I'm willing to invest in that. So, hey, Coach Laddie, coming for you, dog.
Get him on.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, feed him some mushrooms before he comes on. See what the inside of his mind looks like.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, that was cool. That was pretty exciting. Hey, we saw Subtronics Friday.
Yeah, how was that?
Dude, sick. Did you know? Have you heard of a DJ called Level Up? It's a girl.
I've heard of her. Yeah. I've never seen her, but I've heard of her people talk about her.
Yeah, that's his girlfriend. They're touring together.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So Boogie T put on a terrible show. Shout out. It was cool with the last 10, 15 minutes, but so we were going to have date night, Abby and I, and she brought it up. She was like, oh, like we thought he came here in December. And she was like, actually, he's performing tonight. And we're like, oh shit. So we looked into it. All the general admission tickets had been sold out. Here's the funny part. It was at Stubbs Barbecue.
What?
Yeah, like the barbecue Stubbs, the barbecue sauce.
I don't. But okay.
There's no way you don't, dude. There's no way. That's like saying you don't know Baby Ray's or.
Oh, I know, baby. Baby Ray's is all I know.
Dude, Sweet Baby Ray's is right there, and your Stubbs would be right next to it.
I guess I'm being stubborn.
I don't like that. Oh God, it was. God. Oh, that hurt.
Let that sink in.
So they're based here or whatever, and we went for lunch after like one of our conferences, an event that we held here a couple months ago. And so I was like, surely they have like a different venue they're sponsoring or whatever. Nope. Just showed up to a barbecue joint, and in the back they're like, by the way, we got this really cool venue back here. So all the general admission was sold out, so we had to buy VIP, which was $150. And then I can't wrap my head around why I wasn't born into privilege, but now I understand how valuable having a VIP experience was. There was like 12 people on the balcony, and everyone else was packed nut to butt. I saw a girl dig a hole, squat, because she was like 3 people back from the front, squat, take a piss in the middle of the crowd. You see everything up there. You know what I think the real appreciation for? If cops really wanted to fuck us up at music festivals, they would just get up high and radio to their buddies where everything's going on.
They do.
Everything.
They have, which I mean, we learned that from when Brian was on. They have cameras up high everywhere. They could see what's going on in a lot of different locations, for sure.
Yeah,
they know what's going on. They've got to have them behind the DJ booth too, pointing down.
For sure, definitely. I mean, I couldn't believe the amount of illicit activities that I was witnessing up there. But
I couldn't believe the amount I was witnessing in Miami, just everywhere. I see little baggies and spoons and everybody pulling stuff out.
Yeah, dude, it probably looks like a KitchenAid store. Everybody pulling out some kind of utensils.
Some kind of utensils. You had them around necks. I saw one girl had a spoon braided in her hair at the end.
Oh my gosh!
I was like, I don't know. I didn't know what I thought about that, but I was like, that's clever in my opinion.
Who was your favorite person that you saw?
There was Tales of Us was really good. There was this, I forgot her name, but there was this one girl at Get Lost. She was playing in the day. She usually wears like heart glasses. She's a resident at Space nightclub. I know that. She was awesome. Hair? Blonde hair. She was just cool. I just remember going, and it was just like, this is good music. She wasn't like trying to like talk. She wasn't trying to like do crazy stuff. She literally was just like DJ. Just like, y'all have fun and dance out there. I'm just gonna do this thing. I like that. That was cool.
Oh yeah, when they don't talk. That's crazy.
Yeah, when they don't talk or like try to hype, it's like let your music hype.
Your hands up. Get your hands up.
Let your music hype things up. Get Lost itself was really cool, and then and then it was pretty neat. So Tales of Us was really good. My whole crew was hyping up Tales of Us, and I never seen them before until then, and that was like their light show was excellent, world class house music. The whole weekend was also house music. So there was like I'm sure around the city there was a bunch of bass, but my whole group was about house. I was just like, all right, I'm just this is going to be a house week basically, and so it was cool. Yeah, nothing wrong. I really enjoyed it. By the end, I was like looking for some bass somewhere, but whenever they threw some bass into their songs, I was like, oh, thank God, just something.
Oh, there it is. Feeling it. You know what I can't get enough of is when a house DJ brings on like that club environment. Like
one of the guys did that before Tales of Us came on. I forgot his name, but he was doing it. And then he did basically, he pulled like a Barclay Crenshaw type thing, his style of music. Dude, and I was just like, no one was like really dancing. And I was just like, yes, thank you.
Yeah, you got to be that guy. Like I want when I hear the music that I want the DJ to know.
I
Please
was doing
don't
it.
fuck
I
this
was like,
up.
yes, just changed it up. I think it gave everyone a little break, a little bit, just from moving. Everyone started talking. And I was just like, I am about that. That sounded sweet.
Yeah, that's the thing that I didn't understand. I mean, Boogie T didn't put on a shit show. It will never be as bad as Carnage or Shaq. You
I
know,
I thought Carnage was great, but I know
I
you didn't
mean,
have a good time at it.
yeah, I know, teach his own. It was fucking dog shit. You know, I'm not trying to yuck your yum, but I'm just gonna see
Supposedly,
if no takes music.
my group got to see MK. I didn't get to see him, but supposedly he was really good too. He threw down really hard.
I feel like there is so much music I can't keep up with. Like the new age rappers, especially seeing them on
So
Instagram.
much music.
You're like, who is Death Row Star Blueface? Like, I don't know who these people are.
I only knew going into this. I only knew Eric Pritz and Chris Lake was pretty good. I liked him too.
So you
I
got to
only
see
knew
Eric Pritz?
Eric Pritz. Yeah, I got to see Eric Pritz at the house at a factory. One of the things that happened though, which was pretty funny, was we left there. So that venue where Eric Pritz was playing at turned out to be like really hot. Like the ventilation was awful. So it just got
Love
really,
that.
and you're
Just
on something
warm.
and you're just sweating. So
Yeah.
I brought my fan with me. So everyone loved, the fan. I just kept people cool all around me.
Yeah.
Funny thing about that, there was like these two guys standing in front of us that were just like being Mr. Cool guys and like sweating and not moving around a lot. And I could just see they're just like dripping sweat, and I would fan them. They wouldn't acknowledge the fan whatsoever, but they didn't say no to it. And I was like, I know you guys are liking this. I'm not gonna not fan you guys while you're
Yeah, they just think you might
scorching.
be trying to make a move on them or something.
I guess I'm just like, y'all guys, here you go, like feel better. So the we went from there, and we're like, all right, we're going to this area called Factory Town, and there was a show, thing, Paradise is what they were calling it. They were great venue, same place that Get Lost was at.
Mm-hmm.
And we got there. We were probably there for a couple hours, and all of a sudden, like you start feeling drips, and you're like, we're all cool with rain. We're all cool with a little rain, no problem. Torrential down, one of those like Florida torrential hurricane level downpours comes through, and just mows down everybody, and everyone freaking out. Everyone's on drugs, and everyone's freaking out. I mean, like people that have obviously traveled in from New York or like California that have no clue what is happening.
Yeah, it's like a 20-30 minute shower downpour.
Oh yeah, dude. It was like a 30-45 minute one too, of just like high gust wind coming. The DJs kept going too. They were thumping it. They didn't even care. They're like, whatever, we'll keep it going. I think those speakers at the main stage of there got messed up because they never played there again the rest of the weekend. So I think their main stage speakers got messed up from that. But
that's a pretty safe assumption.
Yeah, and so we ended up just leaving. It got too crazy. We ended up leaving, going home, showering, just having our after party there. But it was just hilarious that like a Florida monsoon comes through to one of the sets. But we ended up going back there a couple days later for Get Lost, and that was awesome. They great job to them. They did a fantastic. It just had that Burning Man vibe. Everyone there had Burning Man vibes. It was great.
Yeah. I mean, you can't beat that, man. I love some good music, and that was the thing. So South by Southwest introduced us to like some cool venues around here. Just like that was a really cool experience. But the music scene here, I mean, I thought was just light and fluffy. But dude, Subtronics, he didn't even play the same set when we saw at EDC. I was like, hey, if I just get that round two, I'm a happy boy.
Wow, Subtronics at EDC was great.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't the exact same. I don't know. I loved. I would say the set at DDC was better. But also, we were next to, so like what we were really hearing was the monitors, and I was blown away at how loud the monitors. We were essentially hearing what the DJ was hearing, and I had to put in hearing protection.
I wore hearing protection the whole weekend, and so glad I did, because our group kept wanting to stand right in front of the speakers. And by the end of the weekend, they were complaining about their ears, and I was like, I'm good. I feel great. I haven't had any problem.
Yeah, I don't know why. that is just not sustainable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just, even when we were at the after party and they're blaring their speakers, I was like, I'm putting these in. I don't, what it did help with too is, when your drugs are wearing off at the end of the night, and you know how sometimes you get like that everything sounds like a song or sounds like, car sounds and things like that outside sound like music by
Sure.
late in
Yeah.
the
No,
evening.
I do know. I know exactly what you're talking about. If people
It
listening at
helped
home,
significantly with that. I didn't have like that problem by the end of the night because it was blocking out certain sounds and noises, and it just
yeah,
helped. By the end of the night, I could pull them out, and go to sleep pretty good without having just everything sound like a what no a
yeah, the
beat of some sort.
residual. Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes a big difference. So you guys were going for like 4 or 5 days straight.
100%. It was basically from Wednesday. I got down there Tuesday, but it was from Wednesday to Wednesday, whole week straight
Oh,
through.
that's
Yeah, it
brutal.
was. We were all like, maybe like 4 days max on this one on
Mm-hmm.
doing these.
Yeah, yeah,
But
that's tough.
it was a lot of their like first times in Florida, definitely first times in Miami or going to this type of thing. So a lot of them were feeling it out.
Sure, that's one way to feel it out deep end.
Just go right down into it. And we were with,
Hey,
Tyler, having Tyler with us. He always made sure we had supplements to make sure our we didn't have hangovers the next day, which was awesome. We all felt fine. I felt great by the end of the weekend.
that's awesome.
After the week, I felt fantastic. Turns out Kay does a lot of work for you. Turns out a lot of benefits besides what it does too. Turns out I didn't know that. Like it's actually like
Talking about
helps.
ketamine?
Yeah, it
Okay.
like help. It actually helps with like not feeling like shit the next day when you mix it with other substances. I was like,
Oh, is that
huh.
why he messaged me? He called you my roommate.
He thought you were my roommate. Also, I was like, oh
Got
no.
it. Got it. Okay,
I just
so
went
that
with it. I was like, let it.
he has no context for the video I sent him. Then okay, that makes a lot of sense
He
why
kept
he was
asking about you too. He was like, "When's Colton coming down? When we got up?" He really wants to party with us.
well,
Yeah.
pretty open to it. I'm a wet towel when it comes to not wet towel, but not really a wet towel. Yeah, I was thinking of a wet paper towel, right? That's easily influenced, but a wet towel is something you don't want on you. Anyway, you get the idea. I'm down.
Yeah.
Um,
Might be a cool New York trip with him up there too.
is he in New York now?
Well, he's in Connecticut now, but they might be moving back. He's been in New York. That's where he lived. And so he moved to Connecticut. Now he might be moving back to New York. But we would need to go to the Club Mirage. That's a full 360 visual experience at this club up there. It's pretty world renowned up there. It's neat.
Yeah. What that made me think of, have you seen the video series Inventing Anna?
I've heard about it, but is that the
So
one where
good.
she like pretends like she's something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was based in New York, and I would love to go up there. I mean, the last time I was in New York, I've been to New York City once, maybe twice. I think just one time. I've been to New York State like 6, 7 times. Um, I, for the life of me, can't understand why so many people live up there.
I
Just,
don't either. I don't understand it either, but people love that big city life. That's really what it is. Like constantly things going on, stuff going on,
I mean,
nonstop.
I get that part of it, but
Deli's open 24/7.
how many months out of the year is it good weather? Like 4, 5,
Got to be,
maybe?
yeah, and that's about it. The rest is just freezing cold, slipping on ice falling from
Just
skyscrapers.
freezing cold. Like, fuck you up.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I don't know what Santa Claus did, but it's like he broke the thermostat in Austin because this thing flipped from cold to fucking hot in one day.
It sounds like Florida.
Yeah. But I mean, like, well, the thing is, we were at a park. My buddy Evan came up with his family. And we were parked the other day, and it was 90 degrees, and I was fine. 90 degrees in Florida is brutal.
Brutal. Definitely feels like 110 in Florida.
Yeah. So like if you're under a tree, you're like, actually, this is pretty good. I didn't even break a sweat, aside from being a terrible influence on the playground. You jump out of a swing, suddenly all of these kids think they can, and they start breaking legs. But hey, that's nor here nor there. Um,
That's
really
actually
enjoying.
hilarious. If you want to like really cause a commotion, just do it one time.
That's all I did.
And just
I was
watch
like,
everyone else freak out trying to do it.
hey, Evan, you think I can touch the fence? And he's like, you won't do it. And then I tried. I almost did it. But now all these kids are like, man, that guy flew. Let me give that a
Yeah, you
shot.
don't even have to go that hard. You could just be like, try.
I didn't
And
even
everyone
think
else
about
starts
it. All these parents started giving me
breaking.
side eyes. I'm like, oh man, I'm such a bad influence.
That's what you get for bringing your kids to the park.
Yeah, I know,
If these
right? Would you expect them to
playgrounds
play?
expect
Uh,
them to play, yeah, we're gonna play. Hope you have insurance. Good luck.
yeah, man. So we got to figure out when you guys are going to come up here. Just you. I mean, either way. But we're going to see Eric Pritz in May.
Good
And I
show.
think Odessa is on their last tour. Did you see that?
Yeah, and they don't have one stop in Florida. I was like, are you kidding me? Not one stop in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to travel somewhere to go see. I saw Austin definitely is on that list. So
Well, that sold out. It sold out in like an hour.
uh
Yeah, I know, right?
man. Well, I saw Atlanta, Georgia too, so maybe I can catch them there.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume like I love seeing artists when you know they're gonna pour everything into that show. I mean, I've seen artists like Borgor could have given a fuck when I saw
Didn't,
him at a
didn't give a
club.
shit. Yeah.
Didn't give a shit. But then you see artists that are like Bonner is a great example because something about I think performing for that many people, the artists bring their best. Like
I was just about to say that at a festival venue, I feel like they give it way more than giving it at a club or
yeah.
venue. Like if so, seeing, let's say Skrillex at um, the Ritz and Ybor is going to be a completely different experience than you would seeing them at Bonnaroo or Halloween or something like that. They're going to, I think they give way, because also their equipment that they're using is way better than what they're using
Mm-hmm.
inside of clubs for the most part. Unless you're doing like a world renowned club or something, I'm sure they go out all out on those. But like, especially playing at Bonnaroo, and they have these huge light systems that are being capable of using and speaker systems like Odessa. We saw them. They had a full orchestra almost when they
Full
came.
on.
It was a dream state that they put everybody in for that
Yeah.
show.
And
That
by the
was
way, did you
amazing.
know when we saw them, they were still missing like a third of their group?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
For some reason, I don't remember what it was, but there was like quite a few people that weren't there.
That's amazing because that was huge. But you see them in like, but if you go and see them, I don't know, at a local show, because it's technically only two guys. So
mhm.
like you go and see them at a local show in New York, you're not going to get that full experience that they can bring to the table. So I guess you
Yeah.
also have to pick and choose of where you're seeing. Like Tame Impala, I didn't realize how big that band is. It's one guy that runs it, and it's a whole band, and they have a huge setup and laser systems and all kinds of stuff. Didn't even realize that for them.
Yeah. Did I tell you we're going back to Red Rocks in June?
Oh no, who are you seeing?
We're going to see Son Holo and what's it called? High Wolf? JAI?
Yeah, Jai Wolf. Yeah, I've seen both of those. Great shows, each of them.
Yeah, yeah,
Hell yeah.
dude. I was like, I'm going to take some Lucy and make the walls talk, baby.
Yeah, I'm keeping up with it. I want to take Christy to Red Rocks, but I got to kind of find a good, like Odessa would be a great one for both of us to go to there
Be awesome.
if they were
Yeah.
there.
I think I might reach out to the tour manager and make sure that they're going to have lasers there because I'm just going to be real.
Sure.
If I don't get some fucking lasers at Red Rocks and bass, I know they're going to have some bass. They better have some bass, dude. Like that's.
I'm surprised we didn't have lasers from STS9. I was like, really? Nothing?
Very surprised.
That
Very
was like
surprised.
nothing. But I've also looked at videos from past performers, and I've never seen lasers there either. So I don't know. Maybe
No, I've
the
seen
only thing,
lasers.
huh?
Grizz brought some lasers.
Grizz did. The only thing I could think of was because since it's at an angle, you can't point it into your eyes, like people's eyes, of course, for the most part. But then because it's at an angle, if you went angle, then you're going to be pointing into, flying and airlines and stuff coming by.
Yeah, but they can also set it from the side of the stage to broadcast to the rocks. So they can scan. They have programs for all of that. I mean,
they can make it work. They do it in clubs.
They can point it straight to the crowd. It just has to scan. So they just fan it instead of doing the pointed lasers, and they just scan with it.
Yeah. True. Yeah. I mean, they can make it work.
You can always make a laser work.
Get me those lasers at Red Rocks.
Yeah. So Evan, my buddy that came up, his son's 3 years old, or about to be 3. And man, I'll tell you what, nothing beats seeing a little kid look at that laser system. That is just...
Oh, yeah. They're probably encapsulated by it way more than even we are.
I know, he's screaming, he's an airplane, it's an airplane. And he goes to stick his eyeballs at it. I'm like, oh, I don't want to be responsible for editing.
Don't do
that. Yeah, so, I don't know. I love good music, man. And there's something about it. It's just so weird. Like, by the end of the Subtronic show, I was so totally satisfied. Couldn't have been happier. And still felt a little empty on the inside, like craving the next show.
That's what they do. It's like a casino, man. You hit one, and then they're like, "Come on back, keep spending that money."
Bring us back some.
We got to start doing. We got to start doing more VIP experiences. I think.
Yeah.
Sure. Like the VIP experiences I've been doing have been fantastic along the way.
I mean,
I heard at EDC though. Or at Okeechobee, though, there was like people paid for VIP, but then they weren't letting people into VIP sections because they were saying it was too overcrowded, and then trying to charge people that already paid for VIP to get into those sections. I saw that on the Reddit.
The workers, I don't know.
Well, that was I was saying the workers were doing that, so I guess it also depends on your.
I'm sorry, are you on the list?
Are you on the list? Yeah, I bought VIP. No. The other list, the other VIP list.
The list, are you on the list, sir?
You saw that a lot. You see that a lot in like Miami, like in order to get to the next thing. Are you on this list or this list?
So, all right, well, we can end our program with some of these thoughts. Watching this show with Invent Anna, one of the things that came up at me is social mobility, right? The idea that you can work yourself into a better network. Like with Miami, there's always a more exclusive party. There's always the next thing, right? Where you have to know somebody to get into.
Yeah.
And something that I just found kind of thought-provoking is that in one of these schools that this girl goes to, it had like that beautiful Harry Potter kind of interior, right? Like wood and the recessed vaulted ceilings, things like that. And on the side were like a lot of surnames, like family names and Latin mottos and things like this. And isn't it funny that has just been something all the way throughout like human history of like classes, social stature, positioning, and it doesn't matter what level of society you're at. Like that's congruent top down. Like there's always the next most exclusive thing. Like even if you're Jeff Bezos, which money a lot of times is used to determine what class you're in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most people look at Jeff Bezos as the richest man in the world. He's not. The sheiks and OPEC are the families that are in the oil reserves, right? You have trillionaire families. Mm-hmm. And so I just thought it was something that I thought about, and I was like, isn't it funny that like if you want to progress in life, it starts to come down to who you know that's going to give you the opportunity to get into the next circle, to get into the next thing. The work never fucking stops, man. It never stops.
Yeah, the social statuses never stop, because imagine too as well. So let's say that, right? Like Jeff Bezos, top guy. Like as far as like money and social classes, like he's the top guy, right? Like boom, top guy. At the sheiks, top guy. But then let's get into the social statuses of like microdosing. How much do the sheiks and Jeff Bezos actually know of microdosing? Like honestly, if I was running a microdosing and I have like a very exclusive microdosing thing, and we're gonna do some pretty experimental shit, with the microdosing and with psychedelics, I'm not gonna want Jeff Bezos in there unless he knows what the fuck he's doing.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
that's a social status in itself of like, no, we're gonna have people that know how to do it. I know from this person that this person knows what they're doing, right? So it also
Yeah.
goes into what areas as well are the social statuses that you're looking at, or what's the topics or the concepts, like
Yeah. I mean, that,
like a wook is going to not really blend in probably pretty well for like a New York or Miami high end house vibe party.
it's all about the arena you're in,
Yeah,
right? Like, where do you have social stature? Like, Akon talked about this when I saw this in an interview where Akon was not called out, but asked about him wearing Claire's jewelry. And he was like, yeah, I have the fucking money. Why would I spend it? Why would I wrap up millions of dollars of my money into jewelry when people know I have a fucking ton of money? So, like, if you didn't bring this up right now, most people just look at this jewelry and they don't even question it because they know how much money I have. And he goes, so it's a fool's errand to want to pursue all these things. Like, the rich stay rich by acting poor, and the poor stay poor by acting rich.
yeah.
And so, just back to that concept Akon brought up, he's like, when I'm with my people, like when he goes back to Africa and stuff, he has like a really big stature there, right? I mean, Akon's kind of like world renowned. Whereas if 50 Cent went there, they were like, who the fuck are you? So like 50 Cent can be a massive deal in America, but it just depends on geographically and other factors whether or not you have that leverage in that arena.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like who do they know? Really outside of who they know in their tribes there.
Well, because celebrity is a weird thing, isn't it? To be a celebrity, like you have this influence on someone.
That reminds me of the Rockefeller child that went to Africa or one of the islands with the tribes, and they were a cannibalistic tribe. And they talked to him. They didn't know who he was. They just like whatever. And they just killed because he was white and like looked different. They were like, oh, he's probably got superpowers. Killed him, ate him. One of the Rockefeller kids, and like that's part of. Yeah, it's part of like you can look it up. Yeah, part of history. They didn't know who he was. They're just like, oh, he's not part of our group, but he's probably got some superpowers in there. Kill him off, eat him. But like, if they probably knew who he was and his social status, you mess with this kid, probably gonna have some repercussions that come back at you.
Yeah,
nothing ever happened to him. Nothing ever happened to him.
Really?
Nothing ever happened to that tribe. No, they're like so secluded. No one's going out there. He literally was like in the jungles somewhere, like really deep back there. Like if you go back there, it's going to be a serious problem.
Yeah. I mean, the jungle fucking is a great equalizer, isn't it?
Yes, and that's where we need to plan on going to sometime soon.
Yeah, man, we keep pushing that off. I mean, we got all these trips filling up our calendar, dude. I talked about that as an incentive trip for our sales group. We're going to push right now. And I was like, you know what? I'd love to go to Peru. It's about a day of traveling to get there, though. Peru's not as close as you'd like to think.
I want somewhere that it takes a day or more to get to. Like, I want that. Like, all right, cool. It took me this long to get here. Now I can appreciate how long it took me to get here and what it takes to get here to this
part of the world. I mean, it's just all about like
talk about a social status change in that, just going from how far it takes to get to that point, and no one there is going to care about who you are. They're going to look at you and be like, "Why are you here?"
Mm-hmm. No, straight up. I mean, when I went into the Amazon, like that was a feeling where you're like, "Oh, I'm so far removed from what I know, who I know, and my ability to support myself." Like this is a very foreign feeling.
Yeah.
Well,
something to think about, folks. Social statuses. Where are they? If you're trying to fit in one, is it really that important to what your goals are? Or is it just something that you think looks cool and you're trying to join something that no one really even cares about?
Wise words from a man with a lava lamp on the desk.
Hell yeah, that's right. That's not even taking forever to get going.
Yeah. All right, buddy, let's bring her home. So, hey, if you like this episode, please share it with someone you know, someone you love. Post it on your Instas. We love it when you guys tag us and promote us and give us your money. I'm just kidding.
Not
really. But really. So, hey, when we hop off here, stay on for a few minutes. I want to talk to you about the assistant we want to bring on.
All right, guys. Till next time, till next week. Love you all. Peace.